just set your fastest lap of the session.
All right, let's take a look at that. So this will be first lap, and this is a full throttle, but this is pretty difficult for full throttle, so let's take a look. I'm honestly not convinced that full throttle is actually the best line, but I'll just show you what full throttle is, because to me, full throttle means you're going the fastest, especially if you're keeping the car under you, which I did, so we'll see. So I am going to drive just about a lane off the wall. You don't really need to be right on the wall, especially because of how quickly it comes up at you at this track. So I just try to go full throttle, nothing too crazy. Nothing, no games or anything. So we get down to the white line here, and we come all the way back up to the wall, and we're going to be playing the middle groove here. I can't go low full throttle. I think the other option for a line is to let off and go down to the bottom, but you can't let off too much, and it's very sketchy down there. I think that the ultimate answer might be some perfect all the way down to the bottom at a perfect throttle lift percentage, but this is difficult, but you know what you're going for at least. So I'm going for left sides at the very bottom of this rubbered in groove here, full throttle. It's going to get really loose. I'm always trying to keep the car at the same pitch. We don't want to straighten the car out too much. If we straighten the car out too much at any point in the corner, it'll just go towards the wall. So you see, I'm doing a lot with my wheel in an attempt to never lose that loose condition. And it allows me just to comfortably make it through the corner towards the end. So a lot of that work is done in corner center, where the car is really sketchy. Sorry about that. Okay, one more time. So I go high, dip to my lefts on the bottom of the groove. I try to get as low as possible, you see, and then I straighten out the wheel as much as I can to make the corner exit. Okay. Going into 3 and 4, this is arguably the more difficult full throttle corner because of that right there. So entry of 3 is going to be very loose full throttle. This is where I think maybe letting off a bit and getting right back into it so that there's no loose condition might help you. But I didn't think I lost too much here by being loose, even though it's loose, don't get me wrong. But I didn't think I lost too much momentum. I think if I kept everything perfectly engaged, that's another few hundredths, but I don't see anything going all the way down to the white line being better, per se. Maybe I'm overcomplicating things by trying to peg it full throttle, but I just could not be faster breathing into the corner. I think it has to be this full throttle. 3 and 4, though, will be the harder one, so if you have to breathe for that, that might just be better for you. I think if I were to do it in a race, I might just do the littlest breathe in the corner just to make sure I'm not kicking out too much off that banking. But other than that, it's just full throttle. Try to keep your angle as much as you can. Not try to overcorrect too much. And keep the momentum high to low. General shape will help you because the corner's a little wider on exit in terms of the shape. And then, of course, go down to the apron, cut that little bit of time off there. All right, now let's take a look at long run. All right, let's talk about long runs. So this is pretty much full throttle for at least a little bit. Well, it's not full throttle, but you'll be like only modulating to like 80. And these Xfinity cars at tracks like this, you really just want to make sure you're not sliding your right rear tire. And a very easy way to show that you're gonna slide your right rear tire is if you have to add more steering wheel in the center in the corner. You see how I was starting to kick out the rear there just because I was down low. It seems like the car, the lower you get, will get tighter here. You see how I get to throttle under that, and it'll just really kick out the rear. So what we're looking for is when we get low, we want to just hold that throttle, and then as we get back, we want to make sure that we're getting unloaded in our wheel as we come up the track. We want to at least try to keep it neutral balanced, but this car, it really loves kicking out the rear wheel under throttle. So if you let it slide up the track under throttle a little bit, that'll probably be the best way to go about it. We can run other lines too. So a lot of people will default to this middle line because it's the most stable line. It's a lot easier to drive this line right here than it is to drive the bottom. And honestly, you might just want to drive that line if you're not too worried about your right front tire. But I think that both tires will start wearing. So having a little bit of right front at the end of the run would be good, but only if you have right rear to go along with it. So if you're running the bottom and you're sliding your right rear tire, there's no use being down there. You're not gonna have a chance to use that right front. So like if you're gonna run on the bottom, you better back off to a point where you're not getting super loose back on the throttle like this. And that's a pretty good corner right there because I don't give up too much to running that middle line. So as long as we can get to the bottom and not slide our right rear tire under throttle, that's all that I'm looking for a tire saving line. It can get loose, but it just can't be sliding that right rear tire. And then we can run the top two, I believe. Let me get out of the throttle a little bit just to make sure. It actually, that's right. Here it actually gets loose on the top lane. Ooh, I forgot that that wall juts out there. The top might get good really late in the run. It actually does get loose up here. So a lot of times when you're up by the wall, it burns right front, but this actually will burn right rear because of the car balance. You can see it's not good on the short run, so you really just want to run middle or bottom. I like the middle. I like the middle on entry there. It gets to a point in the run where you don't want to carry too much speed, especially if you're changing lanes. If you're going from like second lane to first lane, it might kick out the rear, but if we just try to lock into this middle lane, it still gets a little loose, and we really want to avoid that. And the more we get into the run, the more that right rear is going to slide. I do like the bottom because it kind of just forces the car to get in a groove. Get out of the gas, get down the bottom. Try not to add too much steering wheel in the center of the corner because that's how it kicks out the right rear. But when we get back into the garage, I'm pretty confident we'll see a lot of right rear here. And if we're in the ARCA car, you're like, oh yeah, I like right rear wear. But no, this Xfinity car, you like both tires wearing evenly. The right rear will wear just as easily as the right front if you have a certain driving style. Let's go take a look at that. So yeah, multi-groove, pretty fun. Just try to find the line that you're not kicking out your right rear the most and still able to maintain your momentum. So yeah, 97, 94. So you see that you really, I was kind of sliding there, just trying to find stuff, but you really don't want to be feeling that slidey through the corner. Do whatever you can to keep stable. If it means giving up a little speed, you'll get back to them later. It just takes a lot of discipline. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. I hope to see you all on the track.